Hello. This is going to be an interesting experiment, and please bear with me because I don't normally do these kind of videos. I'm a lazy YouTuber. But this video, I'm going to tell you about HRCYED, which is the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do. I discovered HRCYED because of the two Sarahs and a Paula. So Sarah from Freshly Read Books and Sarah from Your True Shelf and Paula from Draw Your Book. They're all doing it. And Sarah from Freshly Read Books has all these graphics that she's sharing for us to use, and she's amazing at it. I will link all of them below, and they're HRCYED stuff. I have been enjoying playing with my reading lately, so I decided that I would do this as well. So this is my first HRCYED check-in video. I will link, I can't remember the lady's name who organizes this, but she does an amazing job. It'll all be linked. She has a whole amazing spreadsheet that you can use, and it's so much fun finishing a book and putting everything into the spreadsheet and working out what prompts it goes to. It's not too late to join if you feel like playing with books too, because I'm having a ball with this. Just so much fun. So this is round 2 of HRCYED, and it runs from July to July, or July to June. And because I've only just discovered it, I decided to do a bit of a mashup of the board because there were some prompts in round 1, in the last one, that I really wanted to try. So this is my mashed up bingo board. I don't think it matters. I'm just playing, you know. So these are the prompts that I'm doing for HRCYED this year. It's a lot. The fantastic thing about HRCYED is for each book you get to count it two prompts. So that makes it a little more achievable, but it's still going to be a hard task for sure. So in this video, we're going to talk about my August and September books and kind of the prompts I focused on and what I put the books to, and yeah, just have a little bit of fun slotting books into my bingo board prompts. So join me. So I have 4 books from August that I can use for HRCYED. You've seen vlogs of these books before, but we're just going to go through them quickly and I'll show you which prompts I've put them to. So the first book is Larry's Party by Carol Shields. If you didn't see the vlog where I read this book, it's so good. I would absolutely recommend it. Anyway, that's not what we're here for. So the prompts I put Larry's Party to on HRCYED are the even bigger rainbow prompt, it can fit in the green slot, and the A to Z challenge prompt. So it goes under the L for Larry's Party. So I made a start on those 2 challenges. The next book is Nutshell by Ian McEwan. Again, if you didn't see me read this book, this is a must read. 100%, a million percent want to be one of the best books I've ever read. I know, it's good. Anyway, not what we're here for. This is going again to the even bigger rainbow challenge for the white cover. And then there's a prompt for the last 10 years. So 2015 to 2025 published it, and this was published in 2016. So I can slot Nutshell into that, and we begin that prompt as well. Now, this next book, I can only seem to fit it into 1 prompt at the moment. This is The Story of a Marriage by Andrew Sean Greer. I don't think I can count it for a yellow cover. It's not all yet, right? Anyway, I might do it in the end if I need 1 more book. This is going to go into the by the hundreds prompt, so it's kind of books within certain ranges. I think it's up to 700 pages. So this was 190 something pages, so it slots into the hundreds prompt for HRCYED, but that's all I can think to put it to. So you might see this one pop up again towards the end of this challenge when I really need to just bend the rules a little bit. We'll see. And the last book I read in August was The Art of Breaking Ice. This is another great book, and this helped me start another 2 prompts for HRCYED. So there's an around the world prompt, and the bonus prompt is Antarctica, and this book is about a woman who goes to Antarctica. So this goes into the Antarctica slot in the around the world prompt. Very exciting. And then there's also an Avatar prompt. Do you know that I've never seen Avatar? Is that what it relates to? I don't know. Anyway, there's a water slot in the avatar prompt. And this has got ice and there's water and there's ocean and there's, we're at Antarctica. So I think that one fits clearly in there. So after August, we've made a start on 6 prompts. Very exciting. And we've got 2 books in the even bigger rainbow slot, which is, we're making progress. So that's my August HRCYED update. So in September was when I really did some planning around HRCYED and decided what I needed to focus on. And so I think I had 3 focuses for September. So the first focus was the new releases challenge. This is a prompt on the board where you need to read a new release book within 60 days of it being released. So I needed to get on top of that straight away because it was in September and there was July new releases that I needed to do. So I picked up The Midnight Estate by Kelly Rimmer. I began this book during my second prompt focus for September, which was the 24-hour readathon. You heard me right. Now, yes, I did a 24-hour readathon, but I didn't read for 24 hours. That would be ridiculous. And not just because I'm a middle-aged mum of 3 that has to function in life. I don't think I could have done it when I had no other responsibilities other than myself. It's a mad idea. I don't drink coffee or caffeine either. So, what am I going to do? So I decided to take the tact of setting a timer every time I read and seeing how long it took me to read for 24 hours. It was such a fun challenge. And the benefits of it were that I read 6 books. I read 6 books in that 24-hour time, I did it over 15 days. I finally did it over 15 days. So I started my timer on the 14th of September and finished it on the 29th of September. And it made me prioritize my reading. It made me get off scrolling and screens and things like that. And when I had the time, start that little timer and read. I really enjoyed doing it. In the spreadsheet for HRCYED, she's got the 24-hour challenge and then some formulas. So you just put the books in and the pages and she works it out for you, which is just so great. But it said that I read 2,032 pages, which is an average of 84 pages an hour, which I don't know whether it was the books that I was reading, which were a lot more accessible and easier to read. But I always have thought that I just read at 50 pages an hour. So I don't need to increase my reading speed or anything like that. It's just an interesting stat to I've never really thought to check in with it. So there you go. I wanted to share that with you. So let's talk about The Midnight Estate. So this is like a book in a book kind of thing. So this woman, her uncle dies. He lives in a big house. And so she moves into that house after he dies. And she's a heritage architect. Like she restores old buildings. And so she's decided to restore this back to its former glory. Her uncle was an author and she discovers a book called The Midnight Estate that was published, that he wrote, but it was never released. And so you go through her being in this house, which, people say is, haunted by ghosts and all of the things. You go through that while she's reading the book at the same time. And what the book does was help her uncover the secrets of the things going on in the house and also secrets within her family. This is The Midnight Estate by Kelly Rimmer. Kelly Rimmer is an Australian author. And I first read her in my first ever Brisbane Writers Festival back when I started reading again, when I first read Flames by Robbie Arnott and fell in love with reading again. She was one of the speakers, so I read her book. And I haven't really picked her up since then. Kelly Rimmer for me is a palate cleanser, is a holiday read, is one of those, she's got to work it out. And the stories are generally a little bit more than, just the surface beach read kind of things, but barely. This is not a literary read. And I guess this is a book within a book, and then the 2 worlds collide, you know what I mean? There's old houses with ghost situations, all the things. So it's a good tale, but it's not a gem of a book. I knew I would be reading it for this challenge. I wanted something to kind of just catapult me into kind of reading a lot of hours and getting that timer down. So I knew that something like this would be just easy to do. So look, it's fine. It's fine. She's quite a celebrated author, but it's just an easy read. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So yeah, already, because I've prioritized and because this book is kind of really fast to read, I have finished a book. It's crazy. My timer is at 19 hours and 43 minutes left. Look, this is testing maths Natalie's brain because she doesn't come out very often. So that adds my first book to the new release prompt. This is my July new release, and also is part of the 24-hour readathon. So they're the two prompts that the Midnight Estate works towards. We come to my third focus for my HRCYED in September. I wanted to use the 24-hour readathon to read through the readings prize list. And I got all the books out from the library. The prompt that works towards is called awards season. So you read so many long-listed or shortlisted books and 2 winners of book prizes throughout the year. So I wanted to read the readings prize list, and I thought I could slot it into this prompt as well. So for the rest of the 24-hour readathon, I read from the readings prize shortlist, long list, from the readings prize list. The first book I picked up off the readings prize list is The Confidence Woman by Sophie Quick. This challenged me. It's about a woman who is a single mom, and she's living in the suburbs of Melbourne, I think it is, and she has no support from the father of her son. She is trying to buy a home for her and her son to get just some foundation stuff there and some security. The way that she is doing that is by conning people. And for the whole book, you are in a tug of war of conscience because you feel for this woman and her son and you want them to be okay, but you're like, dude, that's not probably okay to do. It's a tug of war book. The book I'm reading is The Confidence Woman by Sophie Quick. What a cool name, huh? And I'm reading this book because it's on the Readings Prize long list. I think there's only one list, actually. It's just a list and a winner. There's no long and short. I'm on page 136 and I'm really enjoying it. Hang on, I'm going to get my tincture. So it's a story of a single mum, and we're in kind of now time with her. It's just her and her son, and they're renting, and she's saving money to buy a house. That's the dream she has. And then the other chapters are, like, it alternates back to her, how she grew up and the stuff that went down there. So you get a background as to how we've landed with this woman now. What's her name? Christina. Right. So she calls herself Dr. Ruth, and it's wild. Dr. Ruth is the coach, and she targets high-profile people, and she's a mindset coach or whatever on earth she is, and helps them with their business, just kind of sells them a coaching course. But that's not all. What she does is she gathers info. Oh, so gross. Gathers info about them during these coaching calls and then scams them for money at the end with the threat of revealing the stuff they've told her. When she first did that, I was like, holy crap. You're kind of in this position where you're like, dude, that's not okay. That's really horrible. But it's this Robin Hood situation, because then you get this, I'm a single mum, you get this childhood that was shit, you get all these things, and the clients that she has that she scams with this money are really rich business people. So you're thinking it's a hard one, because it's like, well, old mate just bought a boat. You know, he's not scrounging for money. This single mum is, and all she wants to do is get a deposit and buy a house. But still, at the same time, it's totally uncool. So as a reader, there's a battle of right and wrong here. And just seeing and understanding, is this water running making you want to pee? Kind of is for me. And seeing and understanding how fucking hard it is to kind of get ahead, especially as a single mom. I couldn't even imagine. To set up some security in your life for yourself and your child. You know, that you need to do whatever you can, but at the same time, probably a bridge too far. It's gonna taste like shit. Yeah. Ugh, yikes. Why do I do this to myself? I finished The Confident Woman by Sophie Quick this morning. This is on the readings prize list, and it was great. It was really good. I think we talked about it, didn't we, about that Robin Hood thing. And that angst for me definitely continued. And when she went to play out another con and a scam, I was screaming out the book, like, don't do it, you've got a son, you're going to get caught, you know. It was a really kind of high stakes thing that she did and was doing, and yeah, wrapped up in a way I didn't expect. Left me a little unsatisfied, but I think it was a good book. It was funny. It kept me very involved. I got very connected to this woman. And like in the Robin Hood thing, rooting for her, even though she was doing shitty things, but she was doing shitty things to shitty people. So then where do you stand on all of that? And yeah, I would recommend you read this book. I gave it a 4-star. Yeah, it consumed me. I wanted to keep getting back to it and reading. I got frustrated when I couldn't. So that's always the sign of a good book, right? So yeah, I really enjoyed it. If you can get your hands on it, do that. It's an Australian book. It's hard for you if you're overseas, but if you're in Australia, yeah, I recommend this. It's a good time. It's a really good time. So, as with all of these books that are going to come next, this goes towards the awards season prompt in one of the long list, short list books, and also is on my 24-hour readathon list. The next book I read off the reading prize list was The Honey Eater by Jessie Tu. I'm supposed to like this book, but I didn't. This is just a all over the shop kind of book that I'm sure has all of these deeper underlying meanings, and it forms across all of the different stories that we've been told around this one. What's her name? Faye. But I don't think it was well executed. Anyway, Faye's a translator. She's young. She lives with her mum. Her mum's an immigrant from Taiwan, I want to say. Yes. And it starts with her taking her mum for a trip to France, where her mum's always wanted to go. So we go through that process. While she's over there, she finds out that her lover, who she split up with before she went to France, has died. Then we find out some things about who the lover is, how it relates to her work and her colleagues. She is a translator. Did I say that? She goes to a conference, a translators conference in Taiwan. So it all comes back around to Taiwan, and then all of the secrets are revealed and it all plays out. I guess there's some, underlying themes about motherhood, about relation. I don't know what they are. So that's kind of the basic premise of this book. I'm reading The Honey Eater by Jessie Tu. Jessie Tu wrote A Lonely Girl is a Dangerous Thing. I think that's what it's called. I think that was on a prize list back whenever it came out. And I didn't get along with that book. But I'm hoping that I get along better with this one. So this is about, look, I'm 34 pages in. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to lie in the sun until I get too hot, and then I'm going to go into our pool for my first swim of the summer. Yes, because it is hot today and it's so fucking exciting. You know, when you come out of winter and it's been when it's been a hard winter and the sun's shining and you can feel the warmth on your skin and you're not covered in all the layers. Where I live, we are set up for summer. We are set up for outside living. This is where we shine in Queensland, Australia. So in the winter we struggle. So it's so exciting. We're still meant to have another cold snap coming next week, but I'm going to make the most of this sun. And I'm going to lie out there stark naked and just let the sun, the vitamin D infiltrate my body and read this book. Okay. Page 128. I'm not loving it. It's very devoid of emotion. It's very matter of fact. And whether that is the author communicating okay, wait. So a couple of times the author, so this character, what is her name? Faye is translating a book from English to Mandarin. And a couple of times she has noted that Mandarin doesn't have the emotional language to hold what the English language does. And so when she's trying to translate, she's having trouble because there's no words for it in Mandarin, or it's hard to convey the mood or the emotion. And I'm wondering whether the way that the author is writing this character is a reflection of that. Because this character is devoid of emotion, completely. She just heard old mate died and nothing. And she's having an affair and there's a little bit of a, surprise around old mate. So that was good. I like little surprises. But yeah, there's no part of the book where she's crying or she's upset or she's, working it out, like working through the emotions of losing someone that she has told us that she loved very much. So yeah, there's this distance there because I'm not being shown the emotion of the character. And whether that's deliberate or not, I don't know, but it's not making it very enjoyable for me to read. Also, we're still in France. I'm, 128 pages into the 330-page book. And I'm still in France. I'm still traveling with her mum and I'm still getting descriptions of France. And I don't know what that purpose is, what that serves. It doesn't make any sense to me that she's still telling me about the tour and the people on the tour, all while all of this stuff is going on. Every second chapter is a flashback to her relationship with old mate and how that came to be and how whatever. But it's not holding for me at all. It's not holding any kind of support for the character at all, these flashbacks. I guess I'm getting the background as to their relationship, but I don't really know. I don't really know if this is a story. I don't know what this is a story about, really. Is it about her and her relationship with her mother, which is very, her mother is very matter of fact and emotionless and doesn't show love easily. So there's that. Is this a story about her and this guy and their relationship and how that affects her when he dies? Is this a story about her work? Don't know. It's all mushing together somehow and nothing is definite or strong, or there's no focus around any of those three right now. But I just don't, every time she starts describing where they go next on their tour of France, I just get bored. Like, I think, why are you telling me this? What is the reason for this? Why do I need to know that your mom's taking another selfie by a rose bush? They're my thoughts on page 128. Okay, good morning. I just finished. Guys, I'm so unsatisfied. This is crazy to me that this book could exist like it does. It's nothing. It's like this. It's has no substance for me, and that's sad because it could have been so much. Obviously, for it to be so loved, and it's blurbed by some pretty cool people on the front cover, and it's up for the readings prize. So obviously there's a level there that I'm not accessing. But for me, it spread itself so thin across really important topics, to the focus being an affair, or being found out for having an affair, that, like, everybody having secrets, I guess. But that's, to me, that's just such a subplot compared to the idea of translation of works, the idea of colonization of language, I don't know, the idea of academic kind of corruption, I guess, the falsehood of, you know, people being held up in the academic world or the literary translation world, that aren't doing all the work. I don't know. It just, there were so many other themes here, and there was a big reveal at the end that was just so bizarre, because the build up to it was about who gets to translate this book, but that wasn't even really invested in at all. Like, everything was kind of introduced and spat at you in a way, but without any kind of depth below it, investigation. It's so emotionless, this book. There's no emotion in it. And while the discussion around the hardness of translating with emotion is quite interesting to me. So, I don't know. I'm just confused. I'm unsatisfied. I'm confused. I'm frustrated. Yeah. And I remember feeling these feelings with Jessie Two's last book, which got a lot of praise as well. So maybe it's just me getting lost in translation. I don't know. Hello. This is my little one. Anyway, 2 stars, unsatisfied. That's the way this works with this author, I think. Come in, Bubs. Since doing HRCYED, I just love finishing a book because I can put it in the little spreadsheet. I know that's so nerdy, but it's just fun to kind of go, okay, what does this book go towards in the prompts? And yeah, and because they provide you, I think her name's Steph from QWERTY, who does HRCYED, provides you with this amazing kind of system of sorting it all out. It's fun. It's so much fun to do. So my favorite thing right now is finishing a book and putting it in the spreadsheet and working out the prompts. I get it now. I get the fun, like the big readathons and all of the things you have to do, not just, you know, kind of like read a book with a blue cover, but putting it in and organizing your reads. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Anyway, I'm going to put this book in. What a shame. What a shame. That's how I feel about this book. There's part of me that feels bad, you know, like this author is celebrated and I'm not, you know, I'm not a fan of this book, and so I'm not going to say that I am just because. But there's a point where I have to go, I've read 2 books now by this author and both are 2-star. So that's enough for me. It's obviously a me and her thing. It's not a her thing. Do you know what I mean? So there's times, isn't there, where you kind of give authors that are celebrated a couple of chances and then have to go, you know what? It's not going to work out. So once again, we are doing award season prompt and 24-hour readathon. Then we get to Together We Fall Apart by Sophie Matheson. This is one of, I spoke to my friend about reading through the Readings Prize, and he said there's 2 books on there that are related to drug use, which is a confronting subject. And when he told me that, because I didn't really do my research, I took a backward step. I thought, God, do I really want to go through this? This is the first one of those 2 books. This is a dual timeline situation. So it's about a woman called Claire who's living in London with her partner and their son. She has to come back to Australia. Her dad is ill and ends up passing away. The present day timeline is then her dealing with that, her sorting out her mother and her brother, who is a drug addict. The past timeline is about when he became a drug addict and then her kind of journey through that, moving out of the house and then eventually living in London, and how his drug use has affected her, has affected her family, has affected her relationship with her dad and her mother, has affected her relationship with friendships and her partner through, the course of her life. I'm on page 129. What I'm enjoying about this book is that it's not completely about this guy's drug addiction, because that's just a lot. And it's kind of about her working out how to not let that consume her life and take over her life like it's taken over her parents' life, and seeing her breaking free from that, exploring her sexuality. It's great, but this is always in the background. I feel like it's a little too removed at the moment, but I'm sure we'll get back there. We're just in a stage where it's setting up how she got with her partner, but which I also think is problematic. Not how she got there, just the relationship. Anyway, we'll see. So yeah, sometimes going into these books, it can just be all about drug addiction and, but this is from the point of view of a sibling, not the point of view of the person with the addiction. So yeah, it's a good take. It's refreshing, even though it's incredibly emotional and horrible. You know how it works. I looked at my clock and look, single digits. We're nearly there. It's been a day, but I'm here now. And I want to tell you about Together We Fall Apart. I finished it this morning, and this, out of the Reading Prize books that I've read, this is my number 1 so far. So I really enjoyed the process of this book. It's a 4-star. I really enjoyed this book. I really enjoyed the perspective of it. It made me think. Point of view of the sister of a drug addict, and growing up watching his drug addiction spiral, seeing how her parents handle it, how she got lost in the mix of it all, and how it affected the choices that she made in her life. Very interesting perspective that I've not really read before, and I think is important. I expected to go into this book and hear about how she got her brother into rehab and clean. Like, that's the kind of the predictable way of doing this, but it just wasn't that. It was about her life. It was about her exploring her sexuality, about the choices that she made, the addictive nature in her own life, and all of it with this kind of, the interjection of how is her brother doing every now and then. So it was something that was always in the background, but it didn't take that predictable route of her kind of supporting her brother. It was her life and how that was affected by her parents' choices with her brother and her brother's addiction. So I think I was pleasantly surprised by that. This is a debut novel, and it's great. The writing was completely consuming. The story was, there was dual timelines, I guess. So, present day when, she is in the home and trying to work out all the politics of that, I guess, you know, where her mother stands with her brother and what her brother's doing, all the things. And then growing up. And so we'd switch between the two. Don't normally like that style, but everything was so relevant. And seeing the growth of the addiction, seeing where that led her to the point where we knew her to be, super cool and super well done. So yeah, it's kind of one of those dual timelines that was done so well. There was no information in these past timelines that didn't relate to what was happening in the present day. And that's where I get a bit frustrated with dual timelines. It's kind of like this, we're swimming through this other timeline in the past and it's not really that relevant, but this was perfect, super perfect. So yeah, the author did an amazing job at that, I thought. I would recommend you pick this up. If drug addiction stories aren't really your thing and stories about people in the life of drugs, it's not, you don't follow the guy who's the addict, you don't. You follow the sister. And so that perspective I think is really valuable and it's not too much. It wasn't too much for me anyway. It challenged me, it made me think. It was really, really unique perspective that I've not read before. So yeah, I loved it. It is the front runner in my readings prize. So I've got, that's a 2-star. This was a 4-star, but this was just ahead of it, I think. So yeah. So again, this goes towards the awards prompt and then the, what else? 24-hour readathon. I ate this book up. I ate it up. So then I got the flu. We all got the flu. There was sickness. It's been just a rough winter of sickness. So I haven't done a review of the next 2 books I read, but we're going to try and do them now after the fact. It's a bad idea, I know. Bear with me. I Want Everything by Dominic Emarina. This is an interesting book. I'm glad I read it. What this is about is a struggling writer. His partner, she's doing pretty good on the writing scene. He's not doing anything. He does stuff to get money, which surprised me. So I'll leave that for you to be surprised by. It made me laugh, actually, which is uncool, but it made me laugh. One day, he's at the pool and he sees this group of old people getting onto a nursing home bus. And he recognizes one of the women as Brenda Shales. That's her name? Yeah. Brenda Shales is an author from the 70s or the 80s, maybe. That won't tell me on the back, will it? But back then, who wrote a couple of really explosive, really kind of feminist-leaning books, and then got sued and disappeared, and nobody knows what happened to her. So he sees Brenda Shales and he goes, right, I'm gonna get my book out of her. I'm going to be the one that finds out where she lives again, gets the story of what happened to her, where she's been for the last 30 years, 40 years, 50, whatever, and get her to tell me about the court case where she's got sued over this book that she wrote, all the things. So he stumps up at the nursing home, falls into this lie of being her grandson, and this is the story of that. It is funny. It is clever. There's twists, which I didn't see coming. And it's kind of a romp. It's kind of a romp through this guy's dysfunctional life, lying to everybody, getting people to lie for him, trying to con this woman. And the thing is she conning him back? Like, who's conning who? And we're trying to work it out the whole time. It is so well done. Even the way that this author captures the way that up and coming authors stereotypically speak, the way that everything's this theatrical kind of, like they speak in literature. Do you know what I mean? And this kind of like cool, hip authors trying to make it through, kind of conning, like not conning, but fooling each other into, how intelligent they are and how they've got these great books lined up, but nobody's ever really working on them, or they're using other people in their lives to make their writing profound, or to be able to write the story because they can't pull anything from the imagination or whatever. It's kind of this commentary on people like that. Not all, just people like that in that kind of niche of like, yes, I'm an author, but I don't actually write any books. I don't actually write from anything other than ripping off my experience, my childhood, my relationship with people in my family, or ripping off other people's stories. Does that make sense? It all goes to shit, as you can imagine, and very well done. I really enjoyed this book. Like, when I'm thinking about it now, it makes me smile, like it makes me laugh a bit. It's great. And this is a debut novel. This to be a debut novel is insane to me. Yeah, so well done. And I will read whatever book he puts out next. So yeah, I'm really glad that the Readings Prize brought me to this book. If you can get it, I would recommend it because it's good. It's not the best on the list for me, but it's good. Oh, awards prompt and 24-hour readathon prompt. So the last book I read for the 24-hour readathon and in September was Eden Hope by Louise Lenné. This is the best book for me on the list. This is the other drug related book. So this is about a mother of a drug addict. And as with Together We Fall Apart, this is about the sideline experience of being related to, having to take care of, having your life taken over by someone you love who is an addict. In this case, it's her daughter with 2 little kids. It is heartbreaking. But it's not Demon Copperhead, just like total tragedy after tragedy, though it is, but it's written not to make light of anything, but as a story of this woman. She's in her 50s or her 60s. There's 2 little kids that she tries to protect from her daughter and her daughter's partner. It goes through her story and how the effect of her daughter being an addict really has set her up to be a woman in her 50s and 60s that doesn't have a home. Like, the sad state of this woman's life as a direct result of having to bail her daughter out all the time is super sad to witness, but a really important story to tell. And how she fights for her grandchildren to be safe and okay, and how she has to move on from making sure her daughter is safe and okay for the sake of her grandchildren. It's very impactful, very well done. And this author I've never heard of before. Again, I've only heard of one of these authors before. This author is an actor. I don't know. I don't know who she is. I've never seen her. That doesn't say much because I live in a bubble in terms of theatre. But yeah, the way that she pulled this book together is amazing. I don't know if it's her debut, but I would be very interested in any other books that she has to read, because I think this is a very difficult subject, and I think it's very difficult to not fall into cliches in this topic, and she didn't. I loved it. This would be my pick for the winner of the Readings Prize out of the 5 books that I've read. Oh, award season, 24-hour readathon. I'm missing 1 book from the Readings Prize. Long list, short list, whatever. It's still on hold at the library. So the prize isn't awarded until November. So I'm hoping that I can get that book from the library before then and, yeah, have a complete understanding of the Readings Prize long list and, yeah, be able to pick from there. But this is number 1 so far. It's been super interesting because the last time I read Australian prize lists, I was just a bit disappointed. And that feeling has stayed with me around Australian authors and Australian literature. And it's not been anything that's really grabbed me other than Robbie Arnott's work. And I've been feeling a bit disillusioned. This prize list has brought me back, and I'm really super excited to stay in touch with the new releases that are going on in Australian literature at the moment, because this was a really amazing experience. These, apart from one, these are 4 really great books, and makes me really excited about Australian new releases now. I used to be so on top of it, I let it slide. For the new release prompt for HRCYED, I only want to read Australian new releases, so I'm super excited to be in that world again. So in terms of HRCYED, let's get back to the prompts. The award season prompt, I only have 2 more books to read for that, 2 winners, so I intend to do that, which is very exciting. We're in booker season now, and there's some other options, so I'm not quite there yet, but I'm nearly there with that prompt. But the prompt I have completed, and my first prompt for HRCYED, is the 24-hour readathon. There's a little checkbox that says I did it, and now my bingo board here is 1 prompt complete on it, which is very exciting. And that's it. That was a lot of information. I hope you're okay on the other end here. I hope you enjoyed it. It's super fun to play with. Anyway, I'm enjoying doing it, and I wanted to share that enjoyment with you. If you are doing HRCYED, let me know, because I want to see everybody's, challenges and prompts and what they're doing on their bingo boards and in their little spreadsheets. So please let me know. And I hope to come with you every month with my HRCYED check-in. So I'll see you next month after I've read some books in October.